students, myself Miss Rachna Jain, Associate Professor, Department of English, Government PG College, Rajgarh, Alwar. Today in this video lecture, I am going to teach you the poem Dover Beach, which is mentioned in the syllabus of BA Part 3rd English Literature, Paper 1st, Unit A. The topic of today's topic are the introduction to the poet Matthew Arnold, who composed the famous poem Dover Beach, his famous works, and about the poem Dover Beach. First, I want to give you the brief introduction to the poet Matthew Arnold, who composed the famous poem Dover Beach. Matthew Arnold was born on 24th December 1822 and he died on 15th April 1888. He was an English poet and cultural critic who worked as an inspector of schools. He was the son of Thomas Arnold, the celebrated headmaster of Rugby School, and the brother to Tom Arnold, a literary professor. Matthew Arnold has been characterized as a sage writer, a type of writer who instructs the reader on contemporary social issues. He was also an inspector of school for 35 years and supported the concept of state-regulated secondary education. Matthew Arnold is sometimes called the third great Victorian poet, along with Alfred Lord Tennyson and Robert Browning. Arnold was keenly aware of his place in poetry. In an 1869 a letter to his mother, he wrote, "My poems represent on the whole the main movement of mind of the last quarter of a century, and thus they will probably have their day as people become conscious to themselves of what that movement of mind is, and interested in the literary productions which reflect it. It might be fairly urged that I have less poetical sentiment than Tennyson and less intellectual vigor and abundance than Browning. Yet because I have perhaps more of a fusion of the two than either of them, and have more regularly applied that fusion to the main line of modern development, I am likely enough to have my turn as they have had theirs." Arnold was elected professor of poetry at Oxford in 1857 and re-elected in 1862. His poetry is fastidious, elevated, meditative, and melancholy. Deeply felt, it now seems rather remote. We find clarity of expression, gravity, and dignity of thought in his poems. He has classical sense of proportion and harmony. He cannot tolerate exaggeration of sentiment or passion, or emphasis either in description or in epithets and imagery. He writes with a purpose and a definite aim in his mind, and his writings are free from the cloud of passion and imagination that hang upon and obscure the expression in Keats and other romantic poets. As a poet of nature, Arnold bears some resemblance to Wordsworth. He also possesses penetrating and sympathetic insight in nature and believes in its healing power, but is not a nature worshipper like Wordsworth. Neither does he find perpetual joy in it, nor does he recognize any mystic union with it, but takes only a detached view of it. Matthew Arnold was a critic of religion and society, besides being a poet and critic of literature. Arnold was never as popular as Tennyson and Browning. His output is small and his style is severely classical. He is too reticent in the expression of emotion and too reflective. It has been justly said that he is perhaps the first of English elegiac poets. Tennyson and Browning were only poets, while Arnold was both poet and a critic. He made his marks in the field of poetry and criticism. His criticism is original, penetrating, lucid, and sympathetic and just. His first volume of poems is The Strayed Reveller and Other Poems, which appeared in 1849. In 1852 was published Empedocles on Etna and Other Poems. In 1853 appeared a volume of poems, and in 1855 poems second series was published. In 1858 Merope, a tragedy, was published, and new poems in 1868. He also wrote much a criticism. The poem Dower-Beach was published in 1867. The poet has expressed pessimism in this poem. It is one of the most popular of Arnold's lyrics. It also one of his representative poems and reveals poet's outlook on life. It combines a personal note and his sorrows and sufferings and relationship with a common thought of the world at large. The poet paints a picture of Dover Beach in the moonlight. At the time of night, the sea is calm, the full tide is flowing in. The moon shines brightly over English Channel. On the French coast, the light shines for a while and then disappears. The poet invites his friend to come to the window and watch the scene. He informs his friend that night air is pleasant. The only harsh sound comes from the waves of the sea as they go back from the shore, carrying the round stones into the sea and bringing them back and throwing them on the high sea coast. This continuous movement of the waves of the sea produces a sound of sadness. The poet tells his friend that Sophocles, the great Greek dramatist, heard this sad sound long ago in the sea, and that it reminded him of the rise and fall in the human life. The sad sound of the sea reminds the poet of the rise and fall in the religious faith. The poet feels that there was a time when men throughout the world had faith. Faith was like a huge sea and surrounding the earth. It is now going back and back, and he fears it will continue to withdraw, leaving men without faith. So he suggests to his friend that they should be faithful to each other. The world, which seems to be full of beauty, variety, and novelty, has really neither joy nor love nor light. There is no peace and no faith in it. The world is like a dark battlefield on which foolish armies fight aimlessly with each other. So in this video lecture, I have told you the brief introduction of the poet Matthew Arnold and his literary works and the setting and theme of the poem Dover Beach. In the next video lecture, I will explain you the poem Dover Beach. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.